Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my outhouse. Well, I'm going to try to use my 16-inch box fan. I thought it was 14-inch. It's 16-inch in here. I'm not sure if I can use it and it's going to give me enough air. It seems to be pretty strong. We'll take a look at it now and I'll show you. This is a fan that my wife's aunt had years ago, and it's got plastic blades in it, but it seems to be powerful enough. Originally I was using it in the screenhouse before I had the big fan in the rear of the screenhouse. Screenhouse is long gone, of course. So it's a 3-speed fan. I just keep it on high. Now I'll probably remove the handle and this control and just leave the motor on high. And the fan will always be on when the generator's going, so I don't need any high temperature switches or anything like that. It's always on. The only problem is I'll have to cut out 16 inches from here to here to slide the box in there, and then I'll have to put a 2x4 here and a 2x4 here. I won't be able to nail through here, even with it. I could probably use my palm nailer, but I don't feel like dragging out the compressor. So we'll just make a 2x4. We'll cut this off and cut this off. We'll cut a 16-inch square opening outside over here, so it'll actually be coming pretty close to this, because the lower 2x4 goes right about in this area, and the middle one is here and the upper one is over here, so the middle one be cut out, be 16 inches. But then I got to devise some kind of a vent. So I got to devise some kind of a grill. We're going to put hardware cloth over the opening and then put trim around it. And when the generator the generator's not being used, there'll be a cover that goes over the top of that. I was looking in another Home Depot, it's a little bigger one. They had these 8-inch fans that go inside ductwork, but it does not give you the cubic feet per minute. There was no ratings on it. So my impression is it's not very powerful. 8-inch would fit perfectly in this. It's a round thing. It's 8-inch ductwork, I believe, and it sticks out about like that. But it would be perfect to go in there and then put a small grill on it. But that's $41. Then I still got to buy a grill for it. My intention is, this fan has been sitting in the shed. It's never going to get used for anything else, because we got, we don't use these in the house. We have cleaner and newer fans, and we got the AC anyway. So what I'll probably do is take the cover off of this, clean it up. I might even paint it a little bit. I got some dollar cans of black enamel paint from Home Depot. It's good enough just to dress it up a little bit. Take the control off and wire the motor direct. Take the handle off so that it'll fit right in there nice. I bought the cheap 97-cent ones. I don't want to use my Rust-Oleum that I used on the hinges, because I saved that for better stuff. But I just figured I'd paint this and make it look a little better, because it looks like hell anyways. So before I even do any of that, I'm going to take these screws off and see if I can oil the motor a little bit and run it through its paces and make very sure. Because once I cut this opening for this, I'm kind of restricted to what fan I can put in there. But I got to work on the cheap here. Okay, looks like a pretty durable fan blade. I'm not sure how to get that off. To get oil in the motor, it looks like a pretty decent looking motor in there. Not one of these phono motors. Probably have to take out the switch in order to get that to slide right in snug. and it'll simply be plugged in to the generator. I have no idea if this is going to give me the velocity I want. It seems to have a good motor. I don't know if it's in focus or not. And I don't see any place to oil this. So we'll put it on. The first one that's going to come is high. So that should draw the air right out of there. All right, we'll shut it off. See how the fan blades go here. Well, seems to be all right, I guess. All right, well, I'm going to try to oil it. I'm going to try to paint it up a little bit with this paint here, but mainly get the rust out of here. We don't need to get too fussy with it, and try to oil this motor a little bit. We'll come back on this video in a little bit here when I get that done. Well, it's American made. It's Lakewood Engineering, Chicago, Illinois, so we know it's an American made product. And it was my wife's aunt, who long since passed on, used to be her fan. So I think I'm going to try to oil this motor and try to clean this up a little bit. I don't want to get too fussy. And it draws, looks like 1.4 amps, so that's not bad. Model number S-14X. Not that that means anything now, but I think we got a good one here. I might as well use it. And it's only going to get used when the generator is running. Otherwise it's not running, of course. That'll make a good exhaust fan. Sure saved me a lot of money. Alright, there's two holes right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Oil here and oil here, so we're going to put some sewing machine oil in there. I tell you, those holes are really tiny. I don't see how the oil can get in there. I don't have my pin oiler. That stuff must have went when I got rid of the stuff in that auction. I used to have a little needle oiler. Oh well, we'll see if I can oil it in there best I can. Okay, I took the handle off, and there's no use taking and cutting off just making it run on high speed. We'll just simply keep it on high speed with the switch here and just tie it off here somewhere. So I oiled the motor. So there's the oil hole right here, and there's one on the back over here too, behind this bracket. So that's where I did it. I thought that these were the oil holes because they're little indentations, but obviously these are the oil holes. So it's kind of hard to see it with the thing being so rusty. So what I want to do is try to clean this up a little bit and then give it a couple of coats of paint. I got some sanding to do on this yet. And we'll leave the cord just like this, and we can plug this right into the generator. And we'll put the grate back on both front and back when I'm done. And then on the front here, when I cut this opening, I'm going to put some hardware cloth and then put some trim around it. Some kind of trim. I don't know yet what I'm going to use. And there won't be louvers because I'm not going to spend that kind of money for louvers. I'll just have a plywood cover to just cover the thing right up when it's not in use. Most people would just throw a fan out like this. You know, people just don't have any regard for anything that is still usable. And people that do things like that usually have more money than they know what to do with. And I make do with stuff that I can afford and improvise. And although this may not be what you call an, has the velocity of an attic vent fan, for my generator house, it's going to pull out enough air. And I think this will pull out more hot air than an 8-inch, even an 8-inch attic fan will do. So it will keep it cool enough, you know. And my only concern is when you're running in the real hot weather, well, if it's not raining, you just leave the big door open, like it is here, and run it that way. You don't have to close it up unless you're running it in a storm or something. Well, I'm getting it ready to be painted. Got the motor covered. I got to cover this yet. And we're just going to secure this somewhere on the inside. There's no use cutting the wires. I'll just leave it on high, and you never know, in case the high feature ever fails, I can switch down, you know. So I'm just going to spray it. I sanded this the best I could. About the same quality as I do my body work, which is not very good. Sanding is something I hate. I always hated it. But anyways, I use the coarse sandpaper here, but on the outside I'm going to just use a fine sandpaper and sand this all down a little smoother, and then put quite a few coats of this cheap stuff on here. Not as good as Rust-Oleum, but it'll do. So I got a little more. It's smooth. It's just all rusty, but it's smooth. But I'll hit it with some paint. I really don't have to even do anything with it, but I'd rather dress it up a little bit. Then I got to cut the hole out there. It is amazing what a little paint will do. There's only one, well, there's 2 coats on it. I kind of kept going over it just to make it look a little better. I'll let this dry, and I'm going to go out for coffee. Alright, this is all dry. It's looking good. I'll take off the tape and stuff off the back of the motor. I can't paint the motor very well because I'll be getting paint inside. We're going to cut out this as 16 1/4 inch. Now, in order to box this in, we'll have to cut to 16, and then we got to cut back 1.5 inches more on the center one, so that we can get a 2x4 from here to here and here to here. So we're going to have to do a double cut. I might be able to. I cut this on the 16 mark. Okay, the fan should slip right in there, but I'm going to have the end of this 2x4 sitting right here. So I need to cut back this end of the 2x4 1.5 inches in over here, and 1.5 inches in over here to the left side of that nail there, so that I can put on the inside from the top of this 2x4 that's going here right down to the bottom 2x4, which is about in here, my supports. So we're going to take some more measurements. What I'll probably take is the reciprocating saw and just cut out where this 2x4 is at this point. So in other words, I got to make a cut in this panel too. It's the only way I know how to do it. And the same here, the trim should cover that anyways. Alright, this is the first time I use this particular blade. And I got to cut so low, I can't use my saber saw because of this. And I can't use my skill saw because of this. and I can't do it on the inside because of the 2x4. So there isn't many options. So I'm going to try this here using this. This is for wood and plastic. So we're going to try to cut that. At least if I can get that part and some of this done, I might be able to do the rest of it with the conventional saw. I'm going to do is do the cutouts here first, and then I'll cut back and do the 2x4, because obviously you can't cut the 2x4 with this, but I'll be able to cut the plywood out. So I'll get my glasses on and be ready and join you in a minute. This will be a first for both of us.
Yo, where's the bathroom around here?
Okay, that's a scuff. That's not the line. But you know, it's not a perfectly straight line. And my hands are pins and needles in both hands now. I'm running that thing. Well, I smoothed it out down here, so I can almost continue with this since I got the pins and needles anyways.
Have you ever heard a love song that you didn't understand? Where you met her in a tea house on the island of Japan?
Alright, well, I got the cut out here, and we got it so that we cut right even with this. I don't see it coming through here. I see a line here, so it's probably hitting the 2x4 here, because I wanted it coming snugged right up in there, right up to the 2x4. Now this saw here, cutter, is very, very thin, so even my thinnest of hand saws will not quite get in there to try to get these corners cut. But if worse comes to worse, I can just bring the tool up a little bit, because you're not going to see that anyways when I put the trim on. So what we want to do is to get the plywood finished cutting. We got 1, 2, 3 nails in this center 2x4 which you're going to remove. So we'll have to bang this out, and then we'll cut the 2x4 back here. So there's no use cutting it here and then cutting it here. That makes a double cut. So let me finish with the corners here off camera, and when I'm ready to knock this piece out, we'll come back on the video. How does that sound? Go get a cup of coffee while you're waiting.
And it makes my life worthwhile to see my pretty geisha girl dressed in Oriental style. They've read it in the tea leaves, it's written in the sand. I found love by the heartful in a foreign distant land. Tell the home folks.
All right. Well, it's crooked as a corkscrew, but you know, it's done. Now, I want to frame this in on the left and right side with the 2x4. But like I say, in order to do that and keep this here 16 inches so that the fan will go in, I need to cut back about 1.5 inches here to remove this 2x4. And of course, naturally, it's going to cut some of this paneling doing it. But if I'm careful, I should be okay. And the same here. But before I do anything like that, I want to just see if I have to level this out. That's damn crooked as a corkscrew, I'll tell you.